It's been 40 years since the Beatles became one of the biggest selling music artists in the world, and now Ear Candy reckons we've got a new wave of Scouse bands that look set to conquer British shores.
A lot of time in different towns there'll be a band that everyone notices, and therefore they kind of notice the other bands that are around as well, and then, you know, everyone calls it a movement.
When we first started, we used to spend more time in Liverpool than in Manchester for that specific reason, that when we went over to the Real People studio in Liverpool, we were blown away by how many people would come and go and how many people were playing in each other's bands.
Between some of the bands, there is a kind of sound that other bands around the country don't sound like.
When you hear a band for the first time and, you know, if somebody wasn't to tell you that they were from Liverpool, I'd probably be able to work it out within about a minute. You can just tell, you know.
Life ain't always what it seems. Labelled in the press as Cosmic Scouse, this emergence of Liverpool acts has been recognised as an original music movement.
It's just so easy to be labelled or become labelled by it.
If there is such a thing, I don't think that we're Cosmic Scousers, like, I think that we're down to earth.
We're a gang of lads who play guitars, get on with each other, like music, and a boss.
With such a wealth of talent developing within Liverpool, a record label was set up to support and acknowledge the new generation of musicians in the North West.
We were all very much of the opinion that no one was going to get a record deal, you know, because we were doing what we wanted too much. When Alan come along and started the record label, that just sort of gave a bit of a solidity to what was going on, you know, like a focal point.
You never sign a band and you know they're going to be amazing. You sign a band and you hope they will be. When the Coral released Shadows Fall, it was probably the first time there's been a generation of bands coming through whose parents listened to punk instead of the 60s. The whole mindset was different.
By starting up their own club nights, local bands had somewhere to play live to attentive audiences. There was no outside interference, and a tight-knit community of like-minded, talented musicians was formed.
All the bands used to do acoustic nights. And, you know, you get Howie from the Stands and you get Dave and James from the Coral, and everyone would play the Hoke and Clones night. And this was all pre the bandwagon.
We started the bandwagon because we needed somewhere to go. We had one club to go in Liverpool, which was Lobato's.
And it'd be us and the Bandits and the Zootons and the Coral and the Oakhams and all that would go down every week and just sort of all get up with each other.
When there's lots of people like that in the same room and they're into it, you know, it is quite magical. I suppose Liverpool is big enough and small enough to have somewhere like that. In London, you know, I mean, you couldn't have a club like that because it would just be full of wankers.
All of a sudden it kicked off and everyone was like wanting to know about this night, and it's still going. It's been to America and all kinds, so
yeah.
We must have done something right.
Following the international success of the bandwagon night, it seems that old-fashioned musical talent can get you everywhere. With the current Liverpool scene producing more good music than in a long time, the future looks exciting for the city that has consistently produced some of the best guitar music in the world.
Everything goes in cycles, you know, and it's just the time for Liverpool at the moment. And it really is that simple.
There's enough sort of musical ability and talent within the groups from Liverpool to sustain some sort of longevity.
There's definitely bands in Liverpool who, wherever they were, would just break through because they're great bands.
Everyone is a good band here, and it's not because we're all mates that we got signed or anything like that. It's because we all play good music and we all listen to good music.